What's up, everybody? Jeremy from the Fitness and Health Investment Initiative. I Motivate Me. Today, we're going to be conducting a combination of seated and standing exercises using our resistance bands and body weight today. Now, of course, I'm certified by the American College of Sports Medicine as an exercise physiologist, a cardiac therapist. Of course, I'm a transformational life coach as well. So you might hear me talk in a language that integrates all of our aspects or facets of our lives here as we exercise. And so you can visit my website, immheart.com. Check out the packages for my one-on-one coaching consultations and program, as well as the collective coaching curriculum. You can also check me out on Patreon, where I release a newsletter subscription, the free membership, and then the paid subscription that goes more in detail about Jeremy's fitness and health coaching concepts and strategies, where we basically paint a picture to help us create ideas or bring forth ideas to help shape short-term objectives and long-term goals. So again, that's FHII for Fitness and Health Investment Initiative. That's my Patreon channel, Jeremy Watts. So check it out. And in the meantime, we're going to do our exercises today. We're going to go for approximately 20 to 25 minutes. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is for any age level, any functional limitation level, any functional ability level, whatever the case, whether you're an old athlete, a former athlete, or a current athlete. Let's say you're in your downtime, for example, and you're not really doing a lot of training, you're giving your body an opportunity to recover. This is what we want to do, are these types of exercises to stay in motion, especially once we age. You know, you're in your mid to late 30s, early 40s. I'm a 42-year-old athlete. I still train really hard like one. If you ask me to sprint a couple hundred yards down the road, I can do so balls to the wall pretty much and get the job done. But we want to ensure that we hit up all the skill and health related components of physical fitness, from balance, range of motion, flexibility, joint strength. Now, of course, we're talking about, our cardiovascular and muscle endurance, our muscle strength. We want to be able to handle our own body weight. And so this is for younger people who are seeking to become active again, and you want to minimize your risk of injury when you get back out there in the world. Keep this in mind. What happens if you've been inactive for a long time and you get back into the gym, and that exercise regimen that you're investing time in is so hard and it kicks your ass so much that it deters you from going back to the gym, right? So we want good experiences. And so when you go back and you start engaging your body and engaging the environment out there with some kind of high intensity interval training or sprint interval training, we want the utmost confidence. And how do you gain confidence? By enhancing your skill set, optimizing your performance by practicing basic movements that we can do. And so that's what this is all about. So let's go ahead and we'll get started with a nice 20 to 25 minute exercise. We'll start with a nice little warm up phase, and then we'll get into the exercise portion, and then we'll do a nice little cool down, and I will go ahead and provide commentary throughout. All right, so hang in there with me. Let's put the dukes up and we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so of course, I've got plenty of space around me. I'm gonna have my resistance bands. I'm gonna have my chair and my body weight, all right? So what we're gonna do to get started is I'm gonna have my feet shoulder width apart. I like to activate those hips. Now, of course, it's later in the evening, so you bet your bottom dollar I've already been activated here, but for instructional purposes here, I like to rock back and forth. Hips, everything moves through the hips, right? Energy goes through the trunk, through the core, and into your extremities. And that's what we want to do. We want to liven up the cells, right? Very simple stuff. I might go in a circular motion with the hips. Nice deep breaths in and out. Now, I always talk about having your posture upright. Why do we do that? We want to engage the core, those muscles responsible for inflating and deflating the lungs. Remember, the lungs are not a muscle. And so those muscles we want to become more efficient at as we switch directions with the hips here. Show me what you got, ladies. All right, so as we keep that posture upright and we're breathing in deeply and out, we are mindful of our breathing. No shallow breathing today is what I always say. Now, from here, hips stationary, I'm going to go in a circular motion with the upper body. Opposite direction, nice and easy. Feel free to increase the intensity of the movement, right? So if I want to go really fast and I want to switch directions, that's what I'm going to do. As a person who likes to train like MMA wise, this is what I like to do in the gym right? Nice deep breath in and out as I bring those legs out wide, and I'm gonna flow those arms kind of in a circular motion, right? So you see some folks doing these Tai Chi type of movements, or what you would call lymphatic activation. You'll see a lot of athletes doing these types of movements. You can bring the arms forward, again, in a circular motion. Keep in mind, if I'm marching in place, for example, and my arms are a little rigid, these are very rigid movements, right? It's all good. With my cardiac therapy patients, for example, they're usually an older population, although I'm seeing a lot of younger people out there, right? I mean, men and women in their 30s and 40s, guys. You can't make this stuff up. And so what we want to do is, if we're going to be in motion and we're going to be rigid, right, we can look at ways to become less rigid and maximize our movement. So I like to come out, nice deep breaths in and out, right? If you're marching in place, usually I do more of like a jog, right? We're very creaky here. I didn't realize it was going to be so creaky. Maybe I'll back up a little bit, no problem. Right now, as we go, what I'm going to do is bring those palms out and in. All right, bring those arms out. Deep breaths in and out as we go, arms forward. Right, so we're marching in place. That posture's up right here. Now, shoulder's the least stable joint in the body. So what we want to do is activate the rotator cuffs here, especially if I'm throwing punches. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some punches. Notice I have my feet shoulder width apart. You're going to see me kind of bounce around. I might step to the left or strafe to the left, strafe to the right. I'll throw some combinations. You can throw those combos any way you can, right? Change up the angles, nice and easy. I'm going about 40%, something like that. Nothing crazy. Nice deep breaths in and out as we go. Notice I'm switching the angles up. As I'm doing that, I'm rotating the palms in. Throwing those hooks, no problem. Feet shoulder width apart, put the hands up here. We're gonna come down into a squat. Posture's upright. Fully extending those arms up. If you want, you could throw the short ones, right? We increase the intensity here. As we snap those arms up, nice and easy. We're reaching up to the top, bending at the knees, hinging at the hips. Now, if I'm boxing, sometimes I'm gonna arch my back forward maybe a little bit, but what I'm trying to do is maintain my postural integrity, right? Nice deep breaths in and out. All right, from here, a little Muay Thai, right? So if I throw a 1, 2, and 3, and then knee, 1, 2, 3, and knee, and then I can switch it up, 1, 2, 3, and knee. Notice I'm throwing the knee up for a hip flexion, right? So as I'm training, I'm doing these types of movements. Now I'm doing it really fast when I'm in the gym, but here we'll do it slow for instructional purposes. I can throw punches and then the knee, switch sides. All right, and so basically for people who are athletes who are used to doing these types of movements, we can throw those motions faster. Otherwise, what I like to do for the older population, I'll take my right arm, place the right arm in the air, bring it down to that left knee. So the left knee comes up. I'll bring the knee and the elbow together. So a little upper and lower body coordination, right? Very simple movements that we can do, all for warm-ups, of course. Switching sides, right? Left arm up, bring it down to the right knee. So we're working some balance, a little coordination. I seem to be getting closer to the cameras here. This is the first time I've recorded content in a while for this channel, so it's good to be back. Doing a lot of research on my newsletter. My newsletter has been coming out every Sunday evening on Patreon, right? And then Tuesday night, we do a live research analysis and coaching Q&A. So what I do is I put together a YouTube playlist on content related to whatever topic I'm covering. This week, for example, is testosterone and your lifestyle, and how you can take all the GLP-1s and testosterone hormone boosters you want, but if you don't change your lifestyle up, you're gonna have serious issues. All right, and so we are very creaky right here. So I'm gonna back on up. Deep breaths in and out as I take a step to the left and to the right. Shifting body weight from one leg to the other. Posture's upright. I'm gonna reach the arms across the body. Basic aerobic stuff, guys. All right, so we're activating the hips. A little hip abduction here. The rear end, we're gonna be doing some movements with the resistance band, and I'm gonna show you momentarily what I mean. All these exercises help me as an athlete stay out of the PT clinic. I was a PT assistant in my undergrad days. It was part of my internship. For 4 months, I worked in a physical therapy unit. And my whole idea was, all right, all these people are in here with injuries and they're doing all their physical therapy stuff because they're injured. Why not use the physical therapy exercises that seem to be doing these people so good during my exercises to keep me from getting injured, to reduce my risk of injury? All right, so what we're doing is when we use these resistance bands, for example, the bands are going to hit up various angles. Your body consists of hundreds of muscles and they all pull at a bunch of different angles. Your body is basically it's like a biomechanical suit in this materium, the material world, right? So I'm a transformational life coach, for example. I'm talking about the spiritual aspect or the energetic state of things, right? So you have your material and then you have your ether, but that's for another day, right? So we're just switching here. I'm trying to stay busy and active here, keeping the heart rate up, getting the blood flowing nice and easy. Now from here, what I'm gonna do is a negative step. This is for proprioception, or your awareness of your body in space. So what I'm gonna do is feet shoulder width apart here. I'm gonna bend at those knees and I'm gonna step back, bringing the heel to the floor, knees bent, and then switch legs. Very simple movement. Oftentimes I'll have dumbbells in my hand, not today. We're stepping back, shifting the body weight, shifting energy through the foot, through the Achilles, and into the calf, right? Just for instructional purposes, we'll change up the angle here. Now from here, what I'm gonna do is step back and around into a curtsy, and I'm just gonna switch from here. A little capoeira for those who are aware of the dance fighting martial arts that's out there. Introduction move for capoeira. Shifting body weight, right? So from a side angle here, all right, I'm working the hips, thighs, rear end, dropping my body weight down. I might speed up, a little agility. All right, and then we come back. Now, if I'm in the gym and I'm working it, essentially what I'm gonna do is stay in motion. So I'm gonna jump rope. You'll see me kind of work foot movement. I don't have a jump rope, you don't need one. Right, you can slow it down, speed it up. I like a little toe tapping action here for my footwork. All right, so we're bouncing up and down. What does this do when we're bouncing up and down? All right, it promotes bone density in your lower body. Those muscles are putting tension on the bones. That's what we want to do. I know a woman who actually gets on stage and does public speaking. And when she does, she jumps up and down like 30 times. It gets the heart rate up, gets the blood flowing, but also it promotes a little vigorous, intermittent lifestyle physical activity. So we get those little quick spurts and bouts of higher intensity physical activity, and that's what we want to do. All right, it goes a long way as I step to the left, step to the right. From here, bending the knees, stepping to the left, a simple strafe. You don't have to go fast, especially if you don't have a lot of space, right? Keeping the body low, keeping the muscles engaged. I might come down and touch the floor, touch the floor, touch the floor, touch the floor. Very simple movements that we can do to beat gravity, working the hips, right? Quick little break. You take yourself a drink of water, deep breaths in and out. You might be like, how is this guy talking his ass off while exercising nonstop? I don't stop, ladies and gentlemen. Now, of course, depending on your functional abilities, your skill level, you might want to take a little break, but I've been training like this for a very long time. All right? What we also want to make sure we're doing next, I'm going to sit down on the floor and simply stand up. That is my way of practicing every single day, being on the floor, not the chair, on the floor. And so I'll sit down and I'll pop up any way that I choose to, right? I might roll over, onto one knee and help myself up, or I'll sit down, and if I can pop myself up, right, I'll do that. We want to beat gravity. We want to use our body holistically from head to toe to help ourselves up. All right, and one exercise that we can do to help facilitate that is the following. I call it a lunge drop. I'm going to take that left leg, step forward into a lunge position. All right, notice my legs are nice and narrow here for balance. I'm going to drop my body weight straight down and up. Breathing out as you stand. I'm bending that rear leg here, turning to the side. I'm bending the rear leg for a modified leg extension. Working the quadricep, body weight goes straight down and up. All right, from here we're switching. Opposite foot, down and up. This is supposed to simulate you being on one knee and bringing yourself up off the floor. Even if you can't take a deep step down and up, even just going down a little bit goes a long way. We want to put tension on those muscles and bones. All right, now oftentimes people have arthritis the older we get, right? General wear and tear, osteoarthritis, whatever the case, rheumatoid arthritis. We have all kinds of inflammatory issues with our joints nowadays, naturally with age. But that's one exercise that we can do as we stay in motion here to engage those muscles in the hips, in the thighs, so on and so forth, right? From here, I'm going to do what's called a soft jump, but I'm going to start with a calf raise. So my feet are going to be shoulder width apart. I'm going to come up on the tips of the toes. I'm going to bring my arms forward. I bring them out to the side. I bring them up in the air. I bring them forward, and I just rotate like that. It's a balance exercise, but it also works your calves, right? Now, from here, I'm going to integrate it with a jump. You can jump in the air, or you don't have to. You can simply bring your heels off the floor. Coming down into a squat, and as you stand up or jump up, you're bringing your heels off the floor. If you want to jump up and come down, that's fine too. This is a soft jump, right? If you need to modify it, right, you can always use your chair, right? Down and up. You don't have to take a deep squat, right? If you're not able to do that and you have to modify, up, down, up, down, up, down. I want to see you transfer your body weight to the balls of your feet and then back to your lower body, right? Up, down. And this is what it'll look like in real motion here. If I'm in the gym, I'll have dumbbells, 10 pounds, 15 pounders. And I'll go for 60 seconds or so. And then we march in place. You'll catch me doing the jump rope. I'll be moving around. Deep breaths in and out, working those feet. Shuffling about, or you're marching. Simply marching in place. Trying to find the spot that doesn't creak here. I'll keep that in mind next time I record here. All right, now from here we're gonna grab our resistance bands. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna use a heavier band. All right, now there are different sets of bands out there. Use whichever one you like. Essentially what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have the band in the left hand under the left foot. Because we're in boxing mode tonight, apparently, dancing around like Roy Jones Jr. or something. Band is in the left hand under the left foot. I'm gonna have tension on the band to start, and I'm gonna bring those hands up. I'm gonna throw an uppercut with the resistance hand, and then I'm gonna throw a diagonal cut, and then I'm gonna throw a cross. Notice I've got bending in the knees, right? I'm gonna try to go where it's not gonna squeak, right? Or creak. And what I'm gonna do is work with a little bit of vigor. I'm gonna pop, up, right, up, diagonal, across, up, diagonal, across. Keep that up. I usually do them between 40 and 70 seconds, depending on your skill level, of course, and your endurance. And then we're gonna switch hands. Band goes in the right hand under the right foot. Both hands up, come into that squat. Up, diagonal, across. Up, diagonal, across. Now, different angles here. The key to success here is to understand that those muscles pull at various angles and directions. The band is going to switch angles. Therefore, your posture, for example, if I were to push forward, the posture wants to follow the band. So what do? We lock our posture into position here, just like so. So for example, if I step to the side and I push the arm forward, we're working posture and we're also working the muscles in the shoulder. Stepping and pushing, stepping and pushing, stepping and pushing. I can take that left leg. I can step back and drop the body weight, bring the knee up, bring the arm up. Back and up. Oh. Trying to watch the camera while doing the exercises, you kind of lose balance sometimes. Happens to the best of us. We'll switch back to the left side, left hand under the left foot. All right, so I step to the side. We try to have balance, right? So we do the same thing on the opposite side. I'll try to work my memory here. Breathing out as you push. That's a big one for everybody. The key to breathing is to breathe out whenever you're expending the most energy. That action portion of the movement. Boom, breathing out, stepping back here and up. All right, and we take a little break from here. Keeping that heavy band. The next exercise we can do, we'll focus on our postural muscles in between the shoulder blades in the spine and the bottom part of your neck. It's where we hold a lot of our tension, especially if we have a cell phone walking across the street, right? Tell me you guys don't do that. So from here, band is in both hands, arms shoulder width apart. I start out by pulling the band straight back to the chest. Breathing out as you pull. We are connecting our body with our brain and our mind. Energy. 37 plus trillion cells in the body, ladies and gentlemen. You activate those damn things and see what happens. Each one looks like a darn universe. All right? You see what happens when they split the atoms and make a bomb out of it, right? Well, your body consists of trillions of cells, and those cells consist of even more trillions of atoms, guys. That's the energy you have. That's the power and authority that your ass has in this world. Now, from here, I'm gonna have a seat. And as I sit, I'm gonna keep my chin up, touch my bottom to the chair, and then I'm right back up. I'm gonna turn my chair to the side. Back is straight and upright for postural integrity. Keep that chin up. Focusing that energy on the shoulders and the back. That upper back, keep the back straight. We're hinging at the hips, ladies and gentlemen. All right, and we can do these exercises for in between 40 and 70 seconds. If you want to go for longer, that's fine. All right, from here, I'm gonna have that band in both hands. Band under both feet. We're gonna finish off strong here with a few solid exercises to work the hips and the core, right? So I've got my feet shoulder width apart, band in both hands, tension on the band. And I'm simply stepping to the left and right. Now I saw NBA players doing this type of movement to warm up, and I said, why can't I do this in my exercise, right? I'm not a world-class athlete, but I'm a darn good one. And then I can introduce this to cardiac patients, individuals who I was doing fitness training with at the time, right? I could bring the elbows out, keeping the knees slightly bent. I've got tension on the band. What's that do to your posture? If I'm stepping, I got the back straight and upright. Otherwise, the back wants to come here. That's how we work our posture here. I can bring the arms forward, elbows forward. Back to the center. I'm gonna go at an angle here. I'm gonna squat down and bring the arms forward to finish off. Breathing out as we come down. Keeping the back straight, posture upright. Weight on your heels. hinging at the hips. All right, we've got spectators, ladies and gentlemen, to finish off strong. All right, last one, down and up. All right. So, just to recap, essentially what we did was top to bottom, all right? We did a nice little warm up. This is where we would cool down. We would walk a little bit. My cool down is gonna be talking to you guys. So approximately 25 minutes in, all right? So we worked upper body, lower body. We worked on posture. We worked on our breathing techniques. We worked on body weight. We did some jumping routines. We didn't use the chair too much, but we used it enough and we engaged those muscles that help us function properly. Look, you get into your 30s, you get into your 40s, you're going on about your business and your life, you got family, you're traveling maybe for holidays. One of my favorite things to do whenever I travel is when I visit my friends and family and my uncles and aunts especially, my aunt and uncle, I'll get to their house and it drives them crazy because I sit on the floor. I love sitting on the floor. They have these little dogs and the dogs like come over and they'll try to lick your face and everything, and you can kind of play with the dogs on the floor. Kids are around. You're kind of lowering yourself and you're just kind of, I feel more intimate and I feel more included in things when I'm sitting on the floor, right? I feel more engaged and it gives me a chance to kind of feel my body. How is my body feeling? Because my shoulders do get a little sore when I sit down there. And so what are some of the things that I can do? It's a telltale sign for me that there's probably something I can do nutrition wise or weight wise, right? To lose a little bit of weight to reduce the compressive forces of the body. That gets rid of your back pain often, your knee pain, your foot pain. As an athlete, 42 years old, I just played basketball yesterday. My feet are a little sore, or they were anyway this morning. They feel great now. But what we want to do is we want to have our weight normalcy sitting lower. For those who understand what I mean, and you've been following my Patreon stuff, you know what I mean by weight normalcy. It was one of the first newsletters that I did. Again, check out my FHII Jeremy Watts on Patreon. I'll send a link in the description here. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. All right, hit the like, leave a question or a comment. I love any kind of feedback that we get, whether it's positive or negative. So in the meantime, it's dark, guys. I'm getting bitten by mosquitoes and we're finished here, okay? IMMheart.com. If you're interested in life coaching, transformational life and fitness coaching, or somebody in your family or your inner circle is interested and they know what they need to do to take steps forward and they need that guidance, I'm your man. Look me up, sign us up for a one-on-one consultation, and make the most important investment that you'll make in your life. That's the investment in yourself, guys. That's what brought you here. So, until next time, peace.